Alright, this is a pretty serious video, obviously just because of the entire subject matter and whatnot, but it's been pretty sad to watch. So if you're a longtime YouTube user like myself, you know, there's a lot of creators who you watched early on and whatnot that you can remember that you looked up to, or, you know, you really enjoyed their videos and everything, and even though you don't know these people on like a personal level, right, you really kind of feel some sort of attachment to them or whatever. I mean, especially if you grew up with these channels, you know what I'm saying? And FaZe was pretty big when I was growing up, right? I mean, like when I was going into middle school, Call of Duty was just hitting its peak. I mean, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2. Just absolute banger after banger, and with that brought like the on-rise of a lot of these different creators and stuff that I ended up watching for a pretty long time. Now, one of these creators was FaZe Rain, and if you've kind of been following him or anything about him, you know that there's a big problem going on that really does need to be addressed. Now, obviously, this video is not monetized or anything. I feel like it would be pretty messed up to kind of monetize a video talking about somebody's drug habits and whatnot that possibly could end up getting them killed, but FaZe Rain's been going through a pretty tough mental time over the last few months. I mean, his Twitter timeline has been a complete roller coaster. He's been saying a lot of crazy stuff. He's obviously going through a rough time to the point that, you know, people are definitely worried about him, and I have to say I am too. I mean, once again, like, I grew up watching FaZe, watching the montages, watching the videos that they put out on the other channels and stuff like that, and FaZe Rain, he's been a pretty big part of the entire thing, so, I mean, I've known about him for a long time, and he's definitely not in the same place that he was back then. And it's honestly very scary because at this point, I mean, I don't know what's going on because I don't, you know, I don't hang out with FaZe. I don't think anyone in FaZe follows me or anything, but it's been really hard and rough to watch. So FaZe Rain has been putting out just crazy stuff, and he's been going on Instagram Live and basically just doing a shit ton of drugs and stuff in front of the camera and stuff, saying all kinds of things, you know, talking about he's not going to stop, he doesn't want to get help or anything like that. And I do want to go ahead and say, because I feel like a lot of people who haven't really, I guess, been watching the situation close enough have been saying, like, why isn't FaZe helping him out? Why isn't FaZe trying to get him the help he needs, put him in rehab and stuff? The guys in FaZe have been trying. I mean, I've seen it on numerous occasions where they try to get him to go to rehab, or they try to get him to seek some help and try and get him to detox and to take care of himself and to figure out what's wrong. But, I mean, he isn't, because he's in such a bad state of mind. He's not really, I don't think, seeing what he's doing as necessarily, like, really wrong. And it's legitimately putting his health in risk. I mean, doing drugs like he's doing it's dangerous. I mean, it's beyond dangerous. It's just borderline playing Russian roulette. I mean, obviously, like, if you've lived in a drug-stricken community like I have, you know that stuff is pretty serious. I mean, like, we just went through an opioid epidemic in the United States. It's not necessarily over in some places, but I mean, that stuff's rough to see. It's rough to see people and communities go through that. It's not a fun experience. It's not fun to watch. And even though you don't know somebody, you still don't want them to get hurt, you know? It's not like just because I've only watched FaZe Rain's videos that I'm just going to be like, oh, you know, I don't really care. I don't know him as a person. Why would I care? Because, I mean, that's wrong. He's obviously still a person at the end of the day, and he deserves at least some compassion. I know that a lot of people think that, you know, addiction and things like that is all self-inflicted and whatnot, and they don't really want to show any sympathy to people for it. But even if you do believe that, at a certain point, like, you got to look at this and be like, somebody really should try and help him, and he really needs to get some help. Now, once again, they've tried. FaZe has been trying to get him to take care of himself for a long time now, and he just basically has been refusing, and that's part of the problem. I mean, it seems like he goes through these phases where, like, he's doing better, and he, like, kind of comes to a realization. Like, he'll tweet on Twitter. He just did it today, as a matter of fact. He's been tweeting about how he's gonna get sober and everything, and he's gonna stop doing all of these bad things to himself. And I really hope that he can actually pull through and do it. I mean, like I said, this is dangerous, and at this rate, he could really end up killing himself by just doing what he's doing. And I hate to bring this up because it's not really the same thing, but the whole Etika thing, right? I mean, a lot of people kind of just ignored what was going on, and they didn't really do anything to help him, and I'm sure that doesn't, you know, correlate to being the main reason why all that happened, but sometimes all it really takes is one person to intervene and actually try and talk some sense into somebody, and it can save their life. So I'm not gonna hold this video out or anything. That's all I really want to say. I mean, FaZe Rain's probably not watching this video or anything, but I just really hope that he gets himself some help and he addresses the issue and that he can fix whatever's wrong and he can better his situation. I mean, it's been really hard to watch, and once again, growing up watching somebody like that and seeing him at this point, it's definitely pretty sad, man.